Hey everyone, today we've got an update for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Amy Hennig gets another stab at a Star Wars game, and our Game Boy and Game Boy Advance titles destined for Nintendo Switch Online. All that and more on this edition of the Dear Listeners Newsroom. What's up everybody, welcome to the Dear Listeners Newsroom, TRG's weekly news recap. My name is Micah Hendrick, and here are the top headlines for April 22nd, 2022. Rumors have been swirling, and now recent leaks have indicated that Nintendo is primed to add Game Boy and Game Boy Advance titles to the Nintendo Switch online service. First spotted by Twitter user Trash Bandatcoot, files were discovered containing a pair of emulators pulled directly from a production Switch. One dubbed Hiyoko and the other Sloop, these emulators are for the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance respectively. Twitter user Mondo Mega even came across a list of 40 GBA games which might be queued up when the service eventually launches. While this is unconfirmed for now, this list of Game Boy Advance games is quite strong with heavy hitters such as Mario Kart Super Circuit, Wario Land 4, and Golden Sun. It stands to reason that a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack subscription might be required to play Game Boy and GBA games, just like Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis games are today. While this could be taken with a grain of salt, it seems inevitable that these popular handhelds will be hitting the service sooner rather than later. A delayed game is eventually good, but a game moved up by 2 months? Now, that's what we're talking about. Nintendo spilled the beans this past Tuesday, announcing that highly anticipated RPG Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has changed release dates from September to July 29th, 2022. Along with the announcement came a brand new trailer showing off new story content and a bevy of combat encounters. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was only just announced last February, so not only are we seeing a short announced to release window, but also one that has moved up by 2 months. Seeing a game moved up like this is indeed rare, so hopefully developer Monolith Soft is ready to go with the goods. On Tuesday, word came via The Hollywood Reporter that Skydance New Media will be producing and developing a brand new action-adventure game set in the Star Wars universe. Skydance New Media is helmed by industry veteran Amy Hennig, who is known for co-creating the Uncharted series, along with directing Jak 3 for Naughty Dog and writing the 1999 cult hit Legacy of Kain: Soul Reaver. Skydance New Media is the interactive arm of Skydance Media, known more for creating movies, and you may even recall that Skydance New Media already had announced last October that they would be developing a narrative-driven action-adventure game for Marvel. Furthermore, website DualShockers is reporting in the wake of the announcement that this new Star Wars game is indeed a revival of Amy Hennig's previously cancelled Star Wars game, codenamed Ragtag, which was at the time being developed by the now defunct Visceral Games. Fans of single-player action-adventure Star Wars games may also recall the cancellation of Star Wars 1313 roughly a decade ago. There's no word on a release window for this one, so don't expect it for quite some time, but it's nice to see Amy Hennig back in her niche getting another crack at a Star Wars game. After spending some time losing players to games such as Final Fantasy XIV and Lost Ark, Blizzard is finally striking back and has fully unveiled their newest WoW expansion, World of Warcraft Dragonflight. Of course, a brand new race and class will be packed in, the Drakthir Evoker, but the main thrust comes by what Blizzard is calling a new form of navigation. Not quite flying, which has its own distinct meaning in WoW, but something the team is calling dragon riding. Players can take their Drake across one of 4 zones of the new continent known as the Dragon Isles. While we don't have a release date for the WoW expansion, it'll come loaded with a host of new gameplay additions, HUD improvements, and so on, so head on over to worldofwarcraft.com for the full details. You might have heard of rumblings of Sega's quote-unquote Super Game Initiative, which is simply their way of saying they're ready to spend some big bucks on their IP, hoping to cash in on that live service success. Now, word comes by way of Bloomberg, who are reporting that Sega plans to revitalize two popular games of yesteryear, Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. While both are supposedly in development, Bloomberg sources tell them that Crazy Taxi has been in development for over a year and thus could see a release within 2 or 3 years. It's easy to see how both games could accommodate large multiplayer arenas for some sort of live service offering, but really, they can do whatever they want with it as long as they still have that Offspring song in Crazy Taxi. Speaking of Sega, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is currently smashing the box office, so the Japanese publisher is priming for another entry into the film world. This time it's Streets of Rage, and Sega has tapped John Wick creator Derek Kolstad to head up the project, who, according to Deadline, has already written the script for the film. The same production team behind the Sonic films, DJ2 Entertainment, will be behind the Streets of Rage movie. And speaking of DJ2 Entertainment, that production group has also reportedly signed a deal with Amazon to bring a feature film of last year's Game of the Year, It Takes Two, to Amazon Prime. As media outlet Variety reports, It Takes Two will be co-produced by 7 Bucks Productions, which is run by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Variety sources tell them that The Rock could star in the film, but that nothing is official at this point. Alright guys, that's it for this edition of the Dear Listeners Newsroom. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the TRG YouTube channel. You can follow me over on Twitter at Doug's Vest, and you can follow the Reformed Gamers on Twitter at TRG Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the news. We'll see you next week.